Good morning and welcome. My name is Joe Bishop Henchman. Lived in Eckington for over 10 years, and I'm ANC Commissioner for 5F06, which is just across the street there. And Dave Thomas Circle, I come to bury you, not to praise you. I did some research, and this Wendy's location, I learned, opened in 1984, an appropriate year for dystopias. Hot weather, cold weather, the district in bad times, the district in good times, different mayors and different council members, but here you could always get a double Baconator. Something else you got: congestion, mayhem, death, and destruction. I will miss the Frosties, but not the spot right over there where my best friend was knocked down on his bike by a car. We are proud of our neighborhood, but especially proud that this spot on the map will soon become something safer, something more logical, something that can connect our community rather than being a literal island apart from it. We got to thinking nothing would ever happen here. But it is happening, and we have many people to thank for this progress. People who wrote letters, who testified, who gave input on alternatives. There is a Twitter account called Fix Dave Thomas Circle that will now have to be renamed. And I'm pleased to introduce somebody who deserves our thanks, and who will now become DC's first post-Dave Thomas Circle mayor, Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. And we are here indeed to mark progress. I, too, want to thank the commissioners, present and past. I want to thank the community members as well who have helped us stay focused on transforming this space in Washington, D.C. I would like to say, the commissioner said it is happening, and it is happening, but it is not happening by some accident or some just kind of thing that happened. It happened because we stayed focused on it and we thought big about it. And I'm just really incredibly proud of my teams at DDOT. Let's give them a big round of applause. But really, I have to say, this demolition and looking into the future for this spot in Washington, D.C. has been an all-of-government approach. I know that we've heard it, of course, from our transportation officials. We've heard it from our economic development officials, our community officials, who all know that we could and should do better. So let's all say goodbye, Dave Thomas Circle. We are ready to transform this chaotic and dangerous intersection. And it is a part of a larger focus on how we can change or re-engineer roadways, which doesn't happen fast, unfortunately, but it will happen, and it will happen with our will and determination and focus on how to better connect these corridors, which carry a lot of people, for our residents, businesses, and visitors. We're in one of the busiest neighborhoods in Washington, D.C., at the crossroads of Ward 5 and Ward 6 in the NOMA Business Improvement District. We're here where we are served by the red line of the Metro, multiple bus routes, the Metropolitan Branch Trail, and if you look around, you see a lot of new housing and office space as well, and we have about a 1-to-1 ratio of residents to workers, which is something that if we can replicate in other parts of our city, especially the downtown, we will also replicate the vibrancy. So we know that 7 days a week, morning, noon, and night, we have people coming to and from Union Market, NOMA, Gallaudet University, H Street, and we also have people traveling to downtown using New York Avenue. So all that's to say that this is a very important intersection. and it's vitally important that we get it right. We are making a big investment here, $41 million on a project that will take about 18 months end to end. And as I've said, our top priority is safety for people using it, truckers using it, pedestrians, cyclists, everyone sharing the road. And anyone who regularly travels through this intersection knows why it's necessary. People get stuck in lanes they don't mean to be in. Drivers realize mid-turn that they're going the wrong way. People get stuck in the middle of the intersection when traffic backs up, and pedestrians are scared to cross the street. And all around, this configuration is unpleasant, and it is quite unfortunate, actually. And sometimes we've gotten transportation projects right, but this isn't one of them. So a few years ago, I said, we will fix it. I didn't say, Commissioner, that I would be the post-Dave Thomas Circle mayor, but I like the way you put that. I did say I would be the last one to talk about how this intersection is chaotic and unsafe. So we budgeted then $41 million. We bought the property. It's a nice way of saying that we found it necessary to take the property. But the folks here at Wendy's, and we should acknowledge them, they had a thriving business here. And they invested here probably when nobody else was willing to. And so we know that we treated them fairly, but we did find it necessary to use this land as a transportation replacement. So this area, almost formerly known as Dave Thomas Circle, will have a new life. And so we also know, and I want to thank the NOMA bid and its president, Maura Brophy, for their support in leading a renaming effort for the future of this space. I hear there have been over 1,200 responses to a survey, and that a short list has been developed. And that short list includes the Mamie Peanut Johnson Crossing, the People's Plaza, Douglas Circle or Douglas Crossing, Three Stars Plaza or Three Stars Crossing, and the Tiber Crossing or Gateway. So in the coming weeks, neighbors will continue to weigh in on those recommendations to us. So with that, I want to acknowledge our council members who are present for a few comments, and then we'll hear directly from DDOT. So with that, let me first turn to Council Member Charles Allen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Mayor. We're standing basically on the legacy of a lot of bad decisions that led to where we are right now. Ms. Mayor, you are going to be known, though, as the mayor, the last mayor for Dave Thomas Circle. But I think probably collectively, we're all going to kind of know, like, you know how we kind of can date how long somebody has been a Washingtonian by the way they refer to something? So once we're past this, there'll be the cohort of folks that refer to this as Dave Thomas Circle and the folks that call it something else. But we're going to, as a community, be able to mark that. I think a big gratitude to our commissioners, both from Ward 5 and Ward 6. I see Christy Kwan from ANC 6C that's here, our Ward 5 commissioners who were just here a moment ago. But I appreciate the civic and neighborhood leadership that's helped here. To DDOT and to the mayor's team for helping come up with a vision and help drive this to be able to reimagine what this space can be, to undo that legacy of a lot of bad decisions. Our roads and our intersections, each one of them is an opportunity or a failure. They aren't just the way that someone's going to drive a truck around or move around. It's going to be how we actually connect and build bridges across neighborhoods. And this is not a bridge. This is a space that actively is dangerous, and it actively divides our communities on either side of New York Avenue. I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do. Maura and the NOMA bid have been phenomenal partners in helping think through what their role is and helping reimagine what this space could be. But we are going to stand today, as much as I love a good Frosty, and we're gonna no longer have a Dave Thomas Circle, but we are going to see what our future looks like. And it is going to be one that starts bridging our neighborhoods, helps bring our community together, and makes a much safer space for every single person that needs to move across here, whether, and I don't care how you're getting by, but we want you to get by safely. So whether you're driving a car, you're on a bus, you're on a bike, you're getting by foot, this is going to be a safer space for our future, for our residents in our city. So I'm really excited about that. So Mayor, congratulations on this big milestone today. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to thank Councilmember Allen and all of the Ward 6 neighbors who are here. And let me now turn to our host council member. I'm told that this is still Ward 5. These lines and these Ward 6 lines have moved a number of times. So your council member for Ward 5, Zachary Parker.
Good morning, everyone. And yes, this is still very much Ward 5, and I can feel the excitement from so many of you. It is great to see our commissioners who have played a great part in leading up to today. I want to thank the mayor. I want to thank Charles Allen, the chair of our council's Transportation and Environmental Committee, and Director Lott. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I think I sent Director Lott a text and said it would be great if we could have a ceremonial sledgehammer to this building, just given how much excitement there is for what is to come, and here we are today. What this represents to me is how we are thinking more holistically about Vision Zero and how we can make our roadways safer from all district residents. And there is much more that we need to do. I am clear-eyed about that. But I'm happy that this intersection, one of the worst in the city, one of the worst intersections in the city, will be remade and will be a place for public use. It would be a place where there will be more green space and use of the community. As you see, where we're standing now is an intersection between Ward 6 and Ward 5. It is an entry point to the city. And so what better way to welcome newcomers but also residents into this part of the city than to have it for public use. I am looking forward to working with DDOT to make sure that this project moves expeditiously. I have been assured by Director Lott that everything is on schedule and will continue to be. And again, I'm just committed to making sure that this is not the last but the first of many more ways that we're going to make this corridor a better use of the community. Last thing I would say, I'm glad for the partnership of the NOMA bid, and I'm excited that the community is going to have a say in how we rename this part of our community. And so if you have not already done so, I encourage you to take part, make your suggestions, and looking forward to all that is to come. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to DDOT Director Lott, and I'll just say, and go off script a little bit, I know DDOT gets a lot of flack. It's one of those agencies that bears the brunt of a lot of community complaints, and in some respects, residents might say it is deserving, but I have appreciated the ways in which Director Lott has been a partner. He has led with a listening ear, and he's been very responsive to the many concerns of Ward 5 residents. So publicly, I just wanted to say thank you, Director, and I'm looking forward to our continued partnership.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I guess we could all use one of those Frosties from Dave Thomas Circle right now, because this humidity is something else. And I think I'm the only one in a suit right now, but I'm really feeling it. But good morning, everyone. And as Mayor Bowser mentioned, this day has been a long time coming, and we're very excited that it is finally here. Again, my name's Everett Lott. I'm the director for the District Department of Transportation, and we welcome you to what has been formerly known as Dave Thomas Circle. And we want to thank each and every one of you, all the residents, all the visitors, for all your patience and all your understanding throughout this particular process. We all know that change can be both exciting, but also can be very challenging. But together we have the power to improve the shape of this particular corridor and the shape of our city. And I kind of always have viewed this particular area as the gateway to Washington, D.C. And so I'm really excited about what that means for all the folks that are coming into the city, everyday visitors coming up and down New York Avenue, and what they're going to be able to experience as we go forward with this particular project. So today we're saying goodbye to the Wendy's and what has been affectionately known as Dave Thomas Circle. Once this project is complete, we will welcome a new era of progress and also an opportunity for this particular intersection. An era that pushes the envelope of our Move DC plan, which is our 25-year visioning for multimodal transportation investments here in Washington, D.C. Move DC was updated in 2021, and the focus is on safety, transportation equity, strengthening the district's multimodal transportation network, and allowing all district residents and visitors to travel through the district safely and more easily. So as I stand here before you this morning, I am filled with both a sense of nostalgia, and as I think back to those 5 for $5 meals that we used to be able to get from Wendy's, and traveling up and down the corridor, going to some of the local clubs, Dream and Love, and we'd stop here in the evening time, or Howard University homecoming, and you'd all come back here after the homecoming activity. So I'm feeling very nostalgic, but I'm also anticipating and excited with anticipation for what lies ahead for us. Dave Thomas Circle has long been a symbol of our city's complex infrastructure and transportation challenges. This intersection has been its fair share and had its fair share of traffic congestion and traffic concerns, as you've heard before. And this design is characterized by this circular layout of multiple lanes, which are very confusing and has posed difficulties for both our drivers and also for our pedestrians and also for our cyclists. So the demolition of this Wendy's is our first step to make this roadway safer. It also represents our commitment to innovative planning, which is another tenet of the Move DC plan. Over the past several years, we have conducted extensive community outreach to learn about what the residents and also what the commuters want to see in this redesign effort. DDOT has hosted 7 public community meetings at each project milestone to provide updates and also to get feedback and also to engage with local community and local residents as those updates were being received. Our vision for this particular space reflects the feedback that we've received from each and every one of those listening sessions, and the new design is one that prioritizes safety. It also prioritizes mobility and project delivery, sustainability, and enjoyable spaces. This project will include key improvements, including extending our protected bike lanes and upgrading existing ones, adding street trees and green infrastructure, upgrading and replacing curbs and ADA accessible ramps, providing new signage and pavement markings, restoring Florida Avenue to a 2-way street, realigning, converting First Street Northeast to a 2-way street behind us, replacing the streetlights and including accessible pedestrian signals, and also constructing 3 new public spaces for community enjoyment. Throughout the past 2 decades, DDOT has served the residents of the District of Columbia, providing programs and services that delivers a safe, sustainable, reliable, affordable, multimodal transportation network. None of the work that can be accomplished without the support of all of our community partners, our ANCs, of course our City Council, and without the support of our mayor. And I'm really grateful for the support of our mayor. So before I close, I want to thank our local leaders, the NOMA BID, the NOMA Parks Foundation, again, our ANC members, members of the City Council, and every member of this community who's played a role in pushing this project forward. But in addition, I also have to thank the many men and women of DDOT, some that are sitting here behind me, some that are out here in the audience, some that didn't make it out here today because they worked tirelessly to make sure they were able to deliver this project to you today and deliver this project to you completed in December 2024. And one of the group of the DDOT team that probably goes unnoticed but did a lot of work, especially as we were working to get this particular space here, were our attorneys for DDOT. So I really want to thank our attorneys and all their work in making sure we got this on time and at a reasonable rate. So every day, over 1,300 members of the DDOT team have worked tirelessly to ensure that the district's roads are safe and reliable and easy to navigate for the millions of residents and the millions of commuters and visitors that use our transportation network. So our goal is to continue to deliver these projects that serve the district today as well as into the future. Projects like this in today's construction launch our Florida Avenue and our New York Avenue design, and we're going to keep our promise that DDOT delivers and DDOT delivers on time. So we are ready to get to work, and we're excited about what's coming next. Let me introduce the president of and CEO of NOMA BID, Ms. Muriel Bowser.
Thank you, Director. Good morning. I'm Mara Brophy, and I'm the president of the NOMA BID and the NOMA Parks Foundation. I'm delighted to be here with Mayor Bowser, Councilmember Allen, Councilmember Parker, Director Lott, Commissioner Bishop Henchman, and all of the members of the community who are here to celebrate this important milestone. For the past several years, the BID and its foundation have worked alongside DDOT to engage the community, contribute to the project's planning and design, and importantly, support the incorporation of 3 new public spaces that will be delivered as part of this project. As has been the case with other public spaces that the foundation has brought to NOMA, the NOMA bid has invited the community to help name these spaces. Similar processes have been undertaken to name Swampoodle Park, Swampoodle Terrace, and Alethea Tanner Park. We have been inspired by the thoughtfulness, creativity, and level of participation we have seen in each of these cases. This process was no different. As the mayor mentioned, we received more than 1,200 submissions from the community who used this naming process to tell stories about the neighborhood's history, to bring attention to important community figures, and to pay homage to this unique location. The mayor previewed some of these names, but I have the honor of officially announcing the names and the reasoning behind them, which I will do now. Can I get a drum roll, please? Okay, number 1, Douglas Crossing. Community members suggesting this name emphasize the important contributions of Frederick Douglass, social reformer and abolitionist, who was also a district resident. Number 2, Mamie Peanut Johnson Plaza. This name pays homage to the first woman to pitch in the Negro Leagues. She was a graduate of Long Branch High School, a youth sports advocate, and a longtime resident of Northeast DC. Number 3, People's Plaza. This option invokes the name of the adjacent warehouse formerly used for the DMV headquartered People's Drug Store. It is also a double entendre, emphasizing the fact that the new public spaces belong to the people of the district. Number 4, 3 Stars Plaza. Proponents say this option emphasizes the 3 stars that are prominent in the DC flag and reflects the trio of public spaces that will be delivered through the project. Number 5, Tiber Gateway. Tiber Creek, now diverted underground, ran near First Street Northeast and was important to the early development of the district. Supporters of this name say referencing the creek would help connect DC back to the natural characteristics and resources that made its very existence possible. I'll invite you all to join me in a round of applause for these names, which together reflect the incredibly rich history of the District of Columbia and some extraordinary people and places that have helped shape our city. So, what happens next? Continuing the tradition, the community now has a chance to cast a vote for the final name. Voting is simple. Log on to namethisnomaspace.org to cast your vote. For anyone who prefers a paper ballot, please call 202-289-0111 to submit a vote by mail. Voting is now open and will be open through 11:59 p.m. on Friday, August 25th. We're very excited to see the results of the survey, of this vote, and look forward to sharing the results with everyone in the fall. With that, I'll turn it back to Mayor Bowser. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have a demolition, I think a ceremonial brick breaking, and then we'll get in the heavy equipment. But before that, I want to start with press questions, and I would be able to take a couple of community questions, given how hot it is on the almost formerly Dave Thomas Circle. Who's first? Yes, sir.
Peace and blessings.
Peace.
I have one question for you, Mayor,
Uh-huh.
and then a question for the council members.
Sure.
What's your personal assessment of Vision Zero? To what degree do you feel like you're on target in meeting your goals?
We have to make our streets safer, and I think until we see the level of traffic crashes, serious injury, and fatality, none of us can be satisfied. So we have to press on all levels, like this one, a multi-million-dollar long-term project, but also on shorter-term projects, like the ones that we have implemented in the last several budget cycles, including slowing people down and making sure people are following our traffic laws for traffic safety. Yeah. Yep.
Residents complaining about poor driving and recklessness for a very long time now. So why now?
Can you just repeat your question? And I'm
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
Just get some
residents.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I could hear, so if you could just repeat it.
There were a couple of important bills that came out over the last couple of weeks in regards to fake tags, expired tags, and driving under the influence. So why now, given the bevy of complaints that have come out from residents?
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate the questions. I think that it is clear just on the numbers that we are not headed in the right direction when it comes to Vision Zero and safer streets. So as I took over chairing the Transportation Committee, one of the things I wanted to do was to first hold a hearing on how we improve enforcement and traffic safety. So we held that this spring. I've been at this long enough to know if you put the bill forward first and then hold a hearing, the conversation is going to be about that one bill and that one bill alone. And what I want to do is really broaden that conversation. And out of that conversation, out of that hearing, then led 3 different pieces of legislation, one introduced by myself, another by Councilmember Henderson, and another by Councilmember Nadeau. And my goal as the chair of that committee is to then work to hold a hearing in the early fall, work in partnership with the executive, and then be able to move aggressively and quickly on legislative reforms, because our streets are not meeting our Vision Zero goals. And we've got to do better, and I think we've got at least 3 or 4 legislative proposals to have the city do a lot better.
If you can just dig a bit deeper into, I guess, your assessment of Vision Zero. So you did mention the legislation, but you said we weren't going in the right direction. In what way are we not going in the right direction?
Deaths, injuries, near misses.
Execution of Vision Zero and meeting the goals. What direction? What's causing it?
I don't believe we're making the gains and headed in the right direction on Vision Zero. But I also believe that, as the mayor said, projects like this will be part of how we turn that around. But I also believe there's shorter term and there's legislative fixes. And I think the entire city, regardless of branch, executive and legislative branch, we're going to work together, and we've got to make a higher priority of this.
Questions? Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Got a question. Today, the president of Catholic put out a statement. I don't know if you saw it, but basically, the president was asking to have a meeting with you and then also to get more patrols on campus. I'm wondering if you have any response to that. Just came out today.
No. I haven't seen it, so no, I don't have a response to it.
Mayor Bowser, I'm just wondering if you're going to the Major League Soccer event tonight. And
I am.
What can you tell us about just your thoughts? I know you had a press conference earlier in the week, but just looking forward to the match tonight and what your thoughts about hosting this in D.C.
Well, we were at Audi Field, and I don't remember what day that was. I guess it was at the end of last week. We were with DC United, who has been pretty laser focused on bringing this event to DC for the last several years. Some will remember when we hosted the MLB's All-Star Game and the excitement that it brought to the city. And we expect a similar excitement. I will tell you it's the hottest ticket in town. And we know that Audi Field is going to be packed. We would suggest that people use the Metro to get to Audi Field. Metro announced a partnership with Major League Soccer to make that happen. So people are very excited. And it's just a reminder of like a big project that we decided as a city to invest in, to anchor a part of the city that was being underused. And it has paid great dividends for that part of Ward 6 at Buzzard Point. But more than that, it fuels, and I see our DPR director standing there, it just fuels the excitement about our young people being involved in soccer. How many soccer parents, moms and dads are out there who spending Saturdays on soccer fields with these little boys and girls that grow up to be adults who are committed to team play in sport and fitness. So we just see it as a win-win. Events DC has estimated that it's an $11 million return on the investment for people coming here, staying in our hotels, going to our restaurants, participating in arts and culture, and I don't even think that you can put a number on what it does for young people to have world-class professional sports. And that reminds me that we'll start next week, also another world-class sporting event, the City Open, that is going to be up at our courts at the Carter Barron with the National Park Service, and we're also looking forward to talking about that. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mayor. With the nomination of Pamela Smith this week, on the heels of passing the legislation, I just wondered if you could describe whether you're feeling like the city's in the middle of reorienting itself on more solid footing when it comes to reducing violent crime, and if you could describe the stakes or the pressure that you're feeling in that regard when it comes to accomplishing other major agenda items such as revitalizing downtown, attracting new residents, or even drawing more to public outdoor spaces.
I'm trying to follow your question. So let me start with what you said. What pressure do I feel? I feel pressure every single day. That's what being mayor of a big city is. You wake up wanting to deliver more and better for the people you serve, and you start with public safety, and that is that is the first priority of our administration, to make sure we're doing everything for every neighborhood to make it safer. I'm grateful to the council, including the council members present, for helping us advance one part of our public safety agenda, and that won't be all. And I know that the council will also carefully consider our nominee when they return from recess in September, which is what Council Member Pinto has committed to. So I also think that's important. We expect to be talking about more initiatives and services in the coming days and weeks that we also think will contribute to improved safety. So how does that relate to all of our projects? It underlies everything that we do, and people continue to respond by sending more kids to our public schools. Tenants continue to respond by looking at our commercial properties and signing on to leases, so we see that happening. Residents continue to respond. We've had in the last couple of weeks some of our highest ridership days on Metro, so that tells me we're having more worker activity and commercial activity. So our residents are also focused on public safety, and I'm grateful that they have stood square behind our efforts to close any gaps, no matter where they are, whether they're legislative gaps, they're gaps in the agencies under the mayor's authority, or whether they're gaps in agencies under federal authority. As I mentioned, I was at the Congress fairly recently, and I told everybody, the mayor's responsible. I'm even responsible for the things I'm not responsible for. The mayor's responsible, and I take that as a solemn job to complete for the residents of the District of Columbia. Yes.
We keep hearing stories of people trying to call 911 and they can't get through. A woman who was just robbed in Adams Morgan on Saturday. I understand Heather McGaffin made a comment to ANC commissioners recently saying that they are at critical staffing levels. Is 911 in crisis right now, and is there more funding or more resources that you can put into that so that people aren't terrified that their call isn't going to go through?
I don't know if I could point to one case and say people are terrified, and if that happened to that resident is one too many. No, I don't believe 911 is in a crisis, but we are aggressively hiring 911 call takers. Did you hear me? DC is hiring. So, and we expect, you're walking away, I'm still answering your question, but I think what's important, I got a briefing from the city administrator last week about the onboarding process for, I think he told me 30 additional call takers before August is out. This is a high pressure position, and I want to make sure residents recognize that it is in a critical public safety position, and we want to treat it as such in terms of our hiring and training and the support that we provide call takers. And DC is hiring across the public safety sector.
Mayor Bowser, can I just
Yes.
follow up quickly on the crime? Has the crime legislation passed by the council made it to your desk yet?
I was told by my office that it may have come over yesterday, so I will check into that when I get in the office.
So given the urgency that you've placed on this legislation, when will you be signing that?
I will actually want to coordinate with Councilmember Pinto, but we will sign it as soon as possible. All right, any other press questions? No. Press questions? Speak now. Yep, right here. You want to step up to the mic, please? Woo.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I wanted to ask about the the $41 million price tag on the Dave Thomas Circle project. It seems that was an increase that was previously reported. I just wanted to ask where that increase came from.
Let me ask DDOT if they would kind of break down the number. I don't know that it is an increase, but let's see if they can. Thank you.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. So it appears that the Dave Thomas Circle project, the cost for it is $41 million, which it appears that that's an increase that was reported in previous years. I just wanted to ask where sort of that increase came from.
It's not an increase. That's the total cost of the project. That includes the cost for acquiring this particular facility, also for the design work and for the construction. So that's what we had budgeted and what we had factored in probably about 3 or 4 years ago when we first started the work to condemn and receive this particular project, this property.
All right. Okay, 2 community questions. Yes, sir.
In approaching the Vision Zero goals, it would behoove us not to put pedestrians and bicyclists in jeopardy. We regard the network of bike lanes in the city to be reckless, and no one expects pedestrians and bicyclists to be on the superhighway. New York Avenue is a highway, and so we urge you to find alternative routes for bicyclists and not to put them in the center of danger.
Got it. Thank you. Any other community feedback? All right, let's do the demolition. Everybody good? You ready? Top, middle. Top, middle. Okay, 1, 2, 3.